Thank you for watching Sunday Kickoff presented by Grand Lighthouse Coffee. Make sure you go to grandlighthousecoffee.com and use promo code EastWest to get 10% off your purchase. And also, Grand Leyenda Tequila. For more information on the best organic tequila around, make sure you go to grandleyenda.com. Grand Leyenda, the official tequila of the East West Football Network. With me today, Jerry Martinez, Walter Stringer, and Isaac Durham. Guys, how's everyone?
Right on this Sunday.
Man, I almost
Hopefully
won.
we get two more good games today.
For
hmm
sure, for sure. I almost won on that Thrive Fantasy, man. I think everybody should look into it, man. It's not that bad. It's actually very easy. I mean, shoot, they give you 20 players to pick from, right? That are gonna play,
Mm-hmm.
and you pick them, and all you got to do is it's gonna be are they gonna pass over 250 yards? Yes or no? And you know what I mean. I just missed it by a couple on some of these. Some of them I knew, but I kind of I don't know. I don't know why, but man, I could have walked away with like what like 2000. It was 2000 on one of them, but overall there was one that I was in that was like 5,000 just by betting $20. It's crazy.
Yeah, Thrive Fantasy, the easiest way to play daily fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code East West, and
Yeah,
you'll get they'll match you dollar per dollar of at least $20 up to $50. So great
and
promotions that we have available.
they're legal in all 32 states, so it's something to look into, man.
Yes, but all right, guys, let's dive into it. So let's recap yesterday's games really quick. Let's start
Oh
off
yeah.
with the Rams, 18 at Packers, 32. So this was a very close game until about a little bit late in the fourth quarter. So let me get your guys' thoughts on that. Start off with Jerry.
I mean, real quick, that game when you talked about right now with the Packers, it's just interesting, right? Because they all kind of like those coaches, those head coaches, they all know of each other. Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, it goes deeper, right? I mean, Sean McVay, uh, all these coaches, they all know of each other. So it is cool how they're able to learn from each other, as they were coming up through the NFL. And look at them now. Look at the way they were able to scheme up against each other. It just makes football so much more interesting. But when you look at the actual game for game, I mean, you can never count out Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers he's gonna make some things look amazing. I think that one of the one of the biggest questions that I think that is gonna come away from this is that now there's gonna be a lot of pressure on the LA Rams, like the way it is on the Philadelphia Eagles and all these other teams that are having quarterbacks that they paid. Is do we have the right quarterback in place? Chicago Bears, right, most notable because of Isaac. But I mean, overall, there was a very interesting game. I like the fact that we're gonna see that the actual NFC Championship is gonna go through Lambeau. So we'll see what's next for sure.
Walter.
Yeah, I think we all knew Aaron Rodgers pretty much was going to be Aaron Rodgers, but the fact that Aaron Jones was able to control that game the way he controlled that game and ran as hard as he ran wasn't really a surprise to me. We pretty much all what was it a sweep yesterday? Everyone picked Green Bay pretty
Uh,
much.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Uh,
Okay,
well,
Kendall
for the
picked
most part. Okay,
Kendall, yeah.
Kendall picked the Rams.
right.
Kendall is not on today because he doesn't feel well. So hey, but we just want to remind you, you picked the Rams
I hope you feel
Right.
better, Kendall.
But
and feel better, of
I
course.
think I think for the most part, we all pretty much figured. We looked at the Rams and the fact that they can't really stop the run, and the Packers were able to just run it down their throats all day, which kept Aaron Rodgers upright, which kept Aaron Rodgers' arm live and healthy, and Aaron was able to make the big time throws that we're used to Aaron making. Now, as far as the Rams, I think a lot of things got exposed with them yesterday. For one, they're just not explosive offense at all. Even with Cooper Cup healthy, Cup and Woods are pretty much intermediate demons. They need someone who can get explosive plays on that offense. Van Jefferson was a steal for them, but Van Jefferson is another pretty much possession receiver. So they have to figure out how to get more explosive plays in that offense because everything can't be dinks and dunks and slants and short comebacks and shallow crosses. And that's pretty much all the Rams are right now.
Well, hold
Isaac.
on, hold on a minute, real quick, before we go to Isaac.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Cam Akers looks pretty good, man. I mean, he looks like that's the
So
future.
yeah, I mean Cam is fine. Cam is fine at running back, but as far as on the perimeter and tight end wise, I think the Rams have to get more explosive.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, especially at that tight end position. But yeah, Walt's right. To exploit that Rams defense, you need to have a well-balanced offense. Rodgers was Rodgers. Aaron Jones was Aaron Jones, and Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon looked good at times too. The three of them combined for 188 on the ground. Aaron Donald obviously wasn't 100%, but I give credit to Jared Goff and the Rams offense. You know, every time the Packers looked like they were going to separate themselves, they would go up 2 scores. The Rams had an answer until late in the game. It was exactly how we thought it was going to go. 2-possession game. Rams just don't have enough offensively, like Walt said. And I think this Packers team is going to be hard to beat now that the defense is playing better and now that they consistently use 3 running backs in that offense to complement Rodgers and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, the Packers. I mean,
Well said, Isaac. Well said.
I mean, what else can you say? They're just they're a good overall team, and the Rams were just dealing with some things, and Packers were just a better team yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then yesterday's nightcap, Baltimore at Buffalo. So Bills were able to get the win 17-3. Now this was a defensive struggle in the first half, but then we saw some explosive plays in the second half. Let me get your thoughts on the game, Jerry.
Man, the interception, man. I think that they just
Yeah.
spoke volumes, right? I think they even like tied a record, right? It was like 101
Yeah,
yards.
tied a record.
That was just nuts just to see. I mean, overall, it was just to me. I think that the defensive, we got to give credit where the credit is due. Defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, he hats off, man. I mean, he schemed up his guys the right way. He got them all in position to stop Lamar Jackson and get to him. And I mean, they really got to him. I mean, it's unfortunate that he went out with that concussion, but overall, I love what I saw as far as when the offense needs to take over, the offense takes over. When the defense needs to take over, the defense takes over. And it's just Brandon Bean has done a phenomenal job with Sean McDermott and getting his team the players that he needs in the offseason.
Walter.
Yeah, I think the Bills have done in the first 2 games against the Colts and the Ravens what they're supposed to do. I think the Colts and Ravens both had opportunities to beat Buffalo, and it came down to coaching and turnovers and drops. Buffalo did what they like. I said, at the end of the day, Buffalo, they were able to hold on. And you look at the Ravens, I think that game said more about the Ravens, considering the fact that despite the fact they really couldn't throw the ball, they ran the ball pretty well until later on in the third. But the Ravens have to figure out who's going to be the guy in that offense, because right now we thought Mark Andrews was going to be this super great tight end a couple years ago. Not to say he can't still be a really good tight end, but I don't think he can really be their number 1 option. Marquise Brown isn't that. Snead is a very good 3. And they also need a third down running back, someone who can consistently catch the ball out of the backfield, because Dobbins still has the same issues catching the ball that he had at Ohio State. So I think if Baltimore can get a couple more pieces offensively, I'm not as down on Lamar as a lot of people are this morning, but I think if they can get him a legitimate 6'2", 6'3" guy that he can consistently move the chains with and make some plays downfield, that'll open things up for Marquise Brown, that'll open the seams up for Mark Andrews a lot more, so Mark Andrews isn't constantly getting killed or constantly across the middle, and the Ravens can possibly be back, because they're an 11-5 team. They won 12 games this year, so I'm not as down on the Ravens as a lot of people are. I just believe that if you surround Lamar with some more talent on the perimeter, Lamar can also be a lot better.
Yeah, get him a Stephon Diggs.
I think you said it best though. I mean, with what's his name, Marshall Yonda not being there, I mean that offensive line is totally different. I understand.
And Ronnie Stanley.
I was gonna say Ronnie Stanley is a big part of it, but he's not there either. But still, I mean, he needs help on the offensive line. Look at what they were able to do. They were able to tee off on him yesterday, and one of the most crucial games, right, of the season. So I think if they address that and the offensive line and the wide receiver, they'll be set.
Yeah, the Bills did exactly what they needed to on defense. They threw a lot of blitzes Lamar's way, and that really flustered him throughout the whole game. I was surprised by this game. Yeah, it was 17-3, but I thought the Ravens controlled most of the game until they ultimately couldn't execute towards the end. So let's go through it. The first drive, they went down the length of the field. Justin Tucker doinks a field goal. One of the best kickers of all time. Second drive, Baltimore's punter punts a 23-yard punt. So it puts the Bills in great position. They kick a field goal. They're up 3-0. Third drive, another bad punt, 37 yards. They get the ball back. Fourth drive, go down the field again. Tucker doinks another field goal.
Crazy.
It's uncharacteristic. I know the win was a big factor, and then so you go into halftime. It's 3-3. I'm thinking, okay, Baltimore's pretty much controlled this game. They should be up, 9-3. But Tucker's missing those field goals. The Bills put together a solid drive to open the half. They go up 10-3. Baltimore puts together a solid drive as well, and on that second and goal, Marquise Brown's wide open in the flat, and Lamar can't get it to him because he's pressured by Jerry Hughes. That was a big play because obviously that led to that 101-yard tied for the longest interception, pick six in postseason history. That was the turn of the game. The next possession, Lamar gets a concussion. And they still had a chance. That rookie quarterback comes in. He misses a wide-open Marquise Brown down the field. I think the Bills played great, obviously, on defense. But they scare me because they're a little bit one-dimensional. They had one carry that wasn't a Josh Allen design run in the first half. They can't run the ball one time in one half. That they just can't do that. But credit to them, they did enough to win the game. I just think the Ravens did more to lose the game than the Bills did to win.
And you did pick the Ravens, right, to win this one?
I did pick the Ravens, yes.
And you're on the show, right?
I'm on the show. I'm not sick.
Okay.
I think Walter, did you pick Baltimore as well?
Yeah,
I picked Baltimore.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so Jerry, you were the only one that picked the Bills.
Sweet.
But you know what though? Also, I think
Bills
those drops the Ravens had yesterday were drive killers.
Yeah,
There were three
sure.
on third down that could have kept those drives alive. They could have led to field goals, possibly. Could have led to touchdowns. Their field goal kick, the Ravens could have been in position to win this game off of straight field goals, honestly.
Yeah.
And things just didn't work out. But as Isaac said, the Bills scare me because they're playing well enough defensively. These two teams they played in the first two rounds, they're not offensive juggernauts, So we look at next week potentially whether it's Cleveland or it's Kansas City. Can they offensively compete with those teams? Because we expect the Browns to be able to put up some points, to be able to run the football for sure with Chubb and with Kareem Hunt. And if it's the Chiefs, we already know what the Chiefs bring to the table offensively. So can they do it next week against whoever they wind up playing?
Let me ask Isaac and Walt, what do you think that both these teams need to do? Because I'm gonna be, I'll probably cheer Bills Mafia on next week. I know they're that next week is the end for Bills journey, but hey man, they got as close as possible. But what do you think that these two teams should address immediately in the first round? Just seeing the names that you guys have been able to see. What do you think would help them out?
For the
I
Bills,
got running back and tight end.
First
yeah,
round,
exactly. Yep.
For the Ravens and for the Bills.
Well, for the Bills, I have either tight end or running back.
Mm-hmm.
They're picking in the right position right now where if Najee Harris falls to them or if they like Travis Etienne better, they can take one of those guys. If Pat Freiermuth turns out to be healthy, I'm still very high on Pat Freiermuth. I think he would be a better fit for that system than Kyle Pitts, given the fact that Pat Freiermuth is just as good of a blocker. He can help in the run game, and that way he can also get out and catch the ball. So for them, I think one of those two positions makes the most sense. For the Ravens, wide receiver, either wide receiver or guard, depending on how things fall for them in the draft and who falls, I would say either wide receiver or guard.
And what wide receiver at that pick would be a good selection for the Ravens? Just
Bateman.
Bateman. Is there another?
They need a guy like Rashad Bateman who runs routes, long arms, catches everything, and can also make plays down the field.
Is there one more just in case Bateman goes off the border there?
For me in the first round,
Yeah.
well, I don't have that many wide receivers going in the first round. I think by the time the Ravens pick, of course, Waddle will probably be off the board.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, those guys will be off the board. So Bateman, I think, is probably the guy for them. Unless someone wants to reach for Kadarius Toney. I'm not as high on Kadarius Toney in the first round as a lot of people are right now, but I think Bateman is more of what they need if they can't find a receiver in free agency.
I just know that Terrace Marshall from LSU has been drawing some big time first round consideration. So
yeah.
I
actually have them mock taking Terrace Marshall in the second round.
Oh well, sweet. What do you think, Isaac? Have you heard any names that maybe would be, or what position?
I don't have anything to say that Walt didn't say. Obviously, the Ravens need a legit wide receiver, maybe even like a taller, bigger threat. And then the Bills, I mean, Walt's right. They don't have a lot of production from the running back spot. They don't have a lot of production from the tight end spot. Those are the big needs. Walt was totally correct.
Would you blame it on the offensive line, though?
For the Ravens?
Well, for the Bills, because you said the Bills, or
I don't even know if it's really the line's fault. They just don't try to run the ball that much. They're just a pass happy offense, and it works. But to be a Super Bowl championship team, they need to get the running game going.
It's very true. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and preview today's games. Starting off with the first one, Browns at Chiefs. Isaac, what is the line on this game?
The Chiefs are favored by 9.5 points. The over-under is 57 total points. Cleveland is 6-10 against the spread this season, while the Chiefs are 3-5 against the spread at home this year.
Oh man,
Jerry, what do you got?
Give me the Chiefs, right, with that spread, but I think I mean that's an easy one right there. But hold on a minute, I don't know about the. When I look at the spread, you see it was 57. That's what 22.5 each team. No,
23.5.
Okay, 23.5. So okay, I think it's gonna be a little bit more lopsided towards. So I'm gonna go in the over for the Chiefs, man. I don't see that. I don't see that. I think the Chiefs are just gonna. It's gonna be very lopsided.
Walter.
Yeah, I'll take the Chiefs and I'll take the over. You know, when I look at the Chiefs, I really honestly don't see any legitimate chance the Browns have of winning this game unless things turn out to be one of those weird, quirky games like the Steelers game
like last week.
Yeah. You know, where, you know, Ben threw 4 interceptions. He also dropped back 68 times, and he attempted 68 passes, and the Browns weren't able to get to him once. So, you know, if you look at Cleveland, they can't really rush the passer, regardless of when you look at the fact that they do have Myles Garrett, so they can't really rush the passer. They're terrible against the pass. They're terrible on when it comes to getting off the field on third down. The Chiefs are great. They're third in the league on third down conversion percentage. And then when you look at what the Chiefs really bring to the table, how do we really expect Cleveland to be able to handle Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill?
Well, they're one of the worst teams in covering tight ends in the league, so no, not Travis Kelce.
And like if we look at the numbers for those teams, Kelce and Hill have a combined 192 catches and 26 touchdowns this season. That's between two guys. So I honestly don't see any chance the Browns really have unless it turns out to be one of those weird games where missed field goals, tipped interceptions, uncharacteristic turnovers from the Chiefs, and the Browns get short field position.
Isaac.
When I look at that spread, 9.5 points is a lot, especially for a postseason matchup.
It's a lot of points.
The Chiefs haven't beat a team by 2 scores since week 9 against the Jets. Week 9 against the Jets. It was like 35-9. The The Browns, I think, match up against the Chiefs nicely. They finished third overall in rushing offense. The Chiefs finished 21st against the run. Baker Mayfield obviously has looked a lot better in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
And I know, Walt, you said they don't defend the pass well, but they do defend the run very well. They finished in the top 10 against the run. So I think they have a chance, but to win, I think they need to stick with the running game all night. We've seen teams compete with the Chiefs all season, and most of the time it's when the teams control the time possession. I don't think the Browns are going to beat the Chiefs in a shootout, though. If Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have their way and Mayfield isn't throwing the ball 35-plus times, I think the Browns have a real chance. But, yes, this is the Chiefs. This is an offense led by Mahomes with Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, all those weapons, so on, so on. So I just think they have way too many weapons. Walt, you were right. The Browns are not good against the pass. It's just hard for me to pick the Chiefs by more than 9.5. So I'm going to have the Browns against the spread. I think the Chiefs win, and I have the under in this one as well.
Give me the Browns with the points and give me the over on this game. All right, and then the last game of divisional round weekend, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. Isaac, how are we looking on this game?
Saints are favored by 3 points. The over-under is at 52. The Buccaneers are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games against New Orleans, and the Saints are 8-1 against the spread in their last 10 games.
And quick injury update: Taysom Hill with the knee and Latavius Murray with the quadricep are more than likely out for today's game. So that's going to be huge for the Saints. Jerry, what do you think?
I like the on this one. I feel a little bit more comfortable going with the Saints, right? I think that the what was it, +8 for the Chiefs? That's a little bit excessive, but I'm gonna go ahead and go under. I think this is gonna be a real slugfest. It's gonna be ugly. I think it's gonna get to a point where we're not gonna see Tom Brady shake nobody's hand at the end. Giving the Saints to win also.
Walter.
Yeah, as much as it goes against every fiber in my being, I'm going to take the Saints, and I'll take the over also. You know, when we compare the Saints and the Bucs, there's no real reason why that Tampa Bay roster, why Tampa looks. We can consider Tampa elite considering the amount of talent that they have, but there's no reason why they should look that lopsided against another talented elite team when you compare them to the New Orleans Saints. And when I look at it for what it is, we can go back over the past 4 games where we have these 2 games this season and even the 2 games last season. Well, first of all, the Bucs have lost overall 5 of the last 6 to the Saints. But in the last 4 games, Tampa against the Saints, they have a total of 224 yards rushing, 10 turnovers, and they've been outscored 137-67 to the Saints. Like, that's an alarming number for a team that has a roster that talented. And to me, that points directly to coaching and execution, because things should not be that lopsided in that type of matchup.
Isaac.
Well, first off, this is the first matchup between 40-year-old starting quarterbacks in the postseason.
Yeah.
Congratulations to both Drew Brees and Tom Brady.
Yes, congrats.
Dude, this is history in the making. Regardless of what, I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees that we could potentially see in the NFC conference.
Yeah. And this is more than likely the last time we'll see Drew Brady against Tom Brady. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. The Saints obviously have beat down on Tampa Bay. Both the matchups weren't close, the last one being 38-3. I expect this game to be a battle. Like we said last week, like Fidel just said, this could be Brees' last game of his career. But, you know, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers have been playing great football lately. I know it hasn't been against, like, the greatest opponents. They're riding a 5-game winning streak, and New Orleans hasn't looked that great as of late. You know, going into this, I thought Walt would pick against the Saints because he doesn't like picking the Saints, but I guess I was wrong.
Do my research.
I guess I was wrong.
Something doesn't add up with that matchup.
I've done my research too, and I don't really have a lot of reason why I'm doing this. It's more of a gut. I have the Buccaneers beating the Saints today, beating the spread. I also have the under. Like I said before, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, let alone beating Tom Brady 3 times in one season. Yes, Brady and the Buccaneers play a lot worse against teams with great pass rushing abilities, but I just think Brady and Tampa will find a way to beat a Saints team that hasn't looked impressive as of late. So I got Tampa Bay in this one.
I like Tampa Bay too. I like Tampa to win the game, of course, and I like the over on the points. Now, one of the matchups that I'm really looking forward to in this game is Lattimore versus Mike Evans, round 3. And I think Mike Evans is going to have a great game today against the Saints. All right, now it's time for bold predictions presented by Thrive Fantasy. And make sure you use promo code EastWest when you sign up, and you'll receive an instant deposit match up to $50 on your first deposit of at least $20. Download Thrive Fantasy from the App Store, Google Play Store, or by visiting their website, thrivefantasy.com. Let's start off with Jerry. What is your bold prediction for today?
Man, I think that I'm gonna go. I guess I'll go bold here, and I'll say Tom Brady throws 2 picks, and it's gonna be basically a repeat of last year. A pick to seal the game, and the Saints come out victorious.
Hold on real quick. Is this Kendall or Jerry that I'm talking to? I'm just kidding. All right, Walter.
I'm going to go with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, both go over 100 yards.
Isaac.
Browns will rush for over 150 yards and win the time of possession battle. Not saying they'll win, just win the time of possession battle.
And I got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt combining for 200 yards rushing in today's game. All right. So Lock to Win presented by Lands of God Clothing. Start off with Jerry.
Give me the Chiefs, baby. The Chiefs, man. They're the ones who are going to make it close to being back-to-back.
Walter.
Chiefs.
Isaac.
We're all the same. Chiefs.
We're not all the same. Bucs. Give me the Buccaneers. All right, guys. Any final thoughts before we end today's show?
Shoot. So many thoughts, actually. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that tunes in, right? I mean, shoot. I mean, this is fun. I know that the season is coming down to an end, but stay tuned. We have the East-West East-West Basketball Network, and if you're not, make sure you go over there to that page and find them and like them and keep up to date. We have Isaac on there, who drops that knowledge on that basketball. It's just an entertaining panel, totally different than what you're seeing. You don't see all our mugs on there, but you see Isaac for sure. But yeah, tune into that, and they do go the same process: Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter. They give you what they've seen in the basketball world, and they kind of keep you up to date. So if you're interested in NBA, I would definitely suggest doing that. Also, Walter, myself, we do the draft show, and going forward, we're gonna start highlighting each 32 teams. So you guys want to keep posted on that. That's every Tuesday, Thursday. Just a friendly reminder. And don't forget to check out our podcast too, our weekly podcast.
Walter or Isaac, any final thoughts?
I guess I want to comment on Frank Clark and Chris Jones. And what do the Cleveland Browns offensive line do against those two guys? If they can't neutralize Chris Jones, that's going to make for a horrible day for that at least for that offensive line. So can they handle Chris Jones and can they handle Clark off the edge?
So come down to.
I just hope that today's games are a little bit more entertaining than yesterday's games. I expect both of them to be close games. Just an exciting day for football.
All right. And with that being said, thank you everyone out there for watching. And we'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the games.